Here's a trivia question for you. Name an idea for creating jobs that has the support of politicians on both sides of the aisle, America's unions, and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Rebuilding infrastructure is not just about filling potholes. It's about revitalizing the lifeblood of our economy. Businesses consider an area's transportation system when they're deciding where to set up shop, whether it's a high-tech manufacturing plant or a corporate headquarters. If they don't like what they see, there's a simple solution.
You're going to look elsewhere, and that's why we see many of our American companies building overseas and creating jobs overseas.
Texas Senator Kay Bailey Hutchison, a Republican, is co-sponsoring a bill with Democratic Senator John Kerry to create an infrastructure bank, a public-private enterprise that would fund transportation projects as well as energy-related projects like upgrading power grids.
We have to have the basis for growth. Well, the basis for growth is infrastructure. It's having good transportation, it's having water supply, and it's having energy supply.
So how does our infrastructure measure up? Not well. The U.S. ranks 24th in the world, according to the World Economic Forum, down from 9th place only a decade ago. The American Society of Civil Engineers gave our infrastructure a grade of D, saying it would take over $2 trillion to repair it. Meanwhile, other countries are racing ahead. China has a new high-speed rail system that's connecting once remote cities to the entrepreneurial East Coast. Those trains run at speeds approaching 200 miles per hour. The line from Beijing to Shanghai will create a vibrant new business corridor. Brazil is building a state-of-the-art superport that's bigger than the island of Manhattan. It will feature a 2-mile-long pier that's been nicknamed the Highway to China because it will connect the two countries' overseas trade like never before.
Many other countries are doing the innovative infrastructure improvements, and America is not.
And if the implications for global competitiveness aren't enough reason for concern, there's a more basic issue to consider: safety. Let's not forget the horrifying collapse of the I-35 bridge in Minneapolis 4 years ago, which killed 13 people. Senator Hutchison says her infrastructure bank could help America change course. And she says her plan will avoid bridges to nowhere.
There are a number of conservatives and people in business who have looked at our structure and think that this is the right way to go.
Hutchison's iBank would only give loans for projects, not grants. So any project receiving funds would have to make money through tolls or electric bills. The loans would be capped at 50% for any project, and an independent board would decide what's built, not political horse trading. The government's initial investment in the bank would be just $10 billion, but matching funds from private investors could yield much higher returns.
You take a $10 billion fund, you leverage it to $50 billion or $100 billion, and you have added capacity where you can't get it now.
In fact, the European Union has been using this market-based model for building stuff for years, leveraging billions in private capital for infrastructure projects.
They have done a much better job of increasing their infrastructure in Europe, and we modeled our bill a lot on the European plan.
The iBank has brought together some unlikely allies like Tom Donahue of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and Richard Trumka of the AFL-CIO. But congressional Republicans have opposed new funds for projects, saying that it would be a new round of wasteful stimulus spending. Recently, leading House Republicans proposed that money could be drawn from existing transportation funds, but so far, nothing has passed. Senator Hutchison doesn't want her proposal to break the bank, but if America is going to see job growth now and in the future, she says we need to act.
We are absolutely in need of cutting back spending. But as we cut back spending, we need to make sure that we are investing in the areas that will produce long-term gains, long-term job opportunities, long-term economic benefits.